My first thought after reading this play was, wow, how magical. And my second thought was, this play needs to be done now. It's a play about climate change. It's about our changing environment and the destruction that wreaks on humans. The visual elements of this play were hugely exciting to me. Fish falling from the sky, thunderstorms, stars and constant rain. It's operatic and biblical in scale, yet it's also very human. At its core, it's a story about human connection, our everyday search for connection and how we miss that and how it goes wrong.
Dead on, thank God for the salvos, homeless. Alone, without belief, my life will be unbelievable.
Down the channel past the islands, the town disappearing into the distance. And things were moving awful fast in my head now. they were lining up to kill old Aki. I was having awful dreams, worse than nightmares. And it won't let me sleep and it won't let me rest. Lie there and let the rain just wash me away.
Deserve to die. Maxie, you caught a fish! You caught your very own fish! Oh, Maxie, you little duck! You little duck! Cuts to the left hand, the right upper arm, and was pierced through the rib cage and the right lung to the stomach. We have determined that the fatal cut was given here, right through the heart of the city, between the 5th and the 6th ribs.
The Wall of Shame, as the West Germans called it, was built to stop the human hemorrhage of Berliners leaving the East for the West.
It was caused by the laceration of the septum,
symbolic of the division between the communist and capitalist worlds.
Ici, s'il vous plaît. For two, I'm sorry, we don't have any English. I'll translate for you. Vous devez regarder le menu du jour sur le tableau. 2 cafés cognac, tout de suite. Ce sera un ballon, monsieur. Oui, une personne. Ici, s'il vous plaît. For two, I'm sorry, we don't have any English ladies.
Salut, bonsoir. Ça va?
We are going to conduct a little test.
Don't you think I'm panicking enough here?
Der Gefangene Nummer 725 vor der Pilathöhlen. Der Gefangene Nummer 725
Montreal. Parthenay? Yes. This must remain between us, Lucy. It is a confidence. History is written in blood. It means we write history through war, fascism, and murder.
Murder? Do you mean political assassinations?
No, I mean murders.
Fear and mystique which surrounds a polygraph machine makes it a useful pressure tactic in obtaining a confession. But such strategies, I believe, should be used only with great care and compassion.
If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name.
Congratulations to you for being here. Congratulations to you on your marvellous pigtails.
As if the light from the fire has finally illuminated the parts of themselves they would never normally admit.
We really are on the brink of something special.
Congratulations, I'm so happy for you.
Holding them up by the throat and shouting.
And so it goes on and on and on, climbing the gates and knocking on doors of people like you, but a little bit better.
I'm in the changing room in a puddle on the floor. I'm surrounded by bearded daddies brandishing Lucozade, their cocks swinging in my face. Am I alive or is this diabetic heaven?
Animals are new work. Part of a group called Influx. Influx is myself, Susie D, Kate Sherman and Nikki Wills. 3 of us have been working for quite a few years, establishing a new sort of contemporary theatre work. Animal is sort of a minute tale, but at the same time an epic tale about violence, about abuse. Inherently, the terrain is violence against women. We follow the story of 2 sisters who live in an isolated town. We see them prepare for the world outside this isolated world they've been living in. Animal will push the boundaries of physical theatre. Nikki and Kate are incredible physical performers. The genesis of Animal came about at the time, a couple of years ago. The stories were sort of flooding in, domestic violence, abuse against women. The figures were getting higher and higher.
There was a homicide detective that his response was that, well, women just shouldn't walk alone in parks at night. And that was his kind of response to this, kind of epidemic. So we kind of went, this is a really important issue. It's really important always, but particularly now.
And what we're all interested in is seeing women do really extreme physical work on stage. Why can't women snap? Why can't women have harsh voices? Why can't women be, shout at other people? Like, it's not really allowed. If you are that kind of woman or you do those kinds of things, then you are seen as ugly. I'm sick of seeing eloquent women on stage.
Eloquent, pretty, tall women.
Yeah.
When we're thinking about Animal, and in the early stages, I really wanted to work with a really great sound designer.
I like the way Susie physicalises the performance style, which also is very good for music in terms of it's almost choreographic. Initially the text was to be used in a visual way rather than in a spoken way, and so I guess the music is going to kind of basically be telling the narrative or illustrating the narrative of the work.
We're playing with Angus Sereni's text, which would be largely punched out on the wall with big sound, but I think it's going to be huge in a composition sort of sense. And Marg Horwell is the designer, and Marg's brilliant. She's really beautiful with architectural shapes. She's sculptural. She thinks outside the box. Andy Turner, I've worked with before on quite a few shows. He's a beautiful stylised lighting designer. I think Animal is going to be a really great piece of theatre. It'll have substance. It's got great themes. And I think Nikki and Kate are really great physical performers. You train hard, and we're got a regime happening for the next 6 months. I think, well, I'm the director, I don't have to work that hard physically, but Nikki and Kate are going to be training for this show, and I think we're all going to go to places we don't usually go to, and that's always really exciting.
We've done a few showings over the last couple of years, and whenever people have come, there's been really positive feedback, and people have really come away with an experience.
And feeling something.
Yeah, that it's kind of reached into their bones, and that's the kind of work that we're excited to make.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome John McEnroe.
Wrapped up like a noose, another rumor in the night.
woman not to lie. Always to tell the truth at the right tone of voice. Wouldn't it be better to just let yourself be silly and sloppy and lying and babble on? Wouldn't you be a bit better, really, if you would let yourself be what you are? You're playing it so well that everybody believes you, everybody except for me, because I know just how rotten you are.
This is Dorian Gray, this is Dorian Gray, this is the real Dorian Gray, this is not the real Dorian Gray, there is no real Dorian Gray if you catch my drift. He is a beautiful young man. He is a beautiful young man. You are a beautiful young man. You are a beautiful young man. You are a beautiful young man. Chapter 1.
Attention to the little things is vital for a cook. And it's a road that's hard to tread. You'll never know what's up ahead. Sometimes you win, sometimes you fall. But do it your way or not at all. And it's a road that's hard to tread. You'll never know what's up ahead. Sometimes you win, sometimes you fall.
Through the tree. Through the metal road barrier, and the bus does this wicked little tumble over the edge of a cliff and smacks its head on a rock. We rolled among the smoke and bags and bodies. I try to shove my journal under my hoodie, but because I let go, I get thrown head first into the window and my neck snaps.
Looks at her stomach and realizes there's a baby in there! So she makes a suggestion she never thought she'd make. Let's move to the suburbs!
We've been so worried. You mustn't sneak out like that.
The light that hits a spirit and wraps around it and gives it form for a second or less. It's fleeting, the life of a ghost. It moves at the speed of light because that's all it is.
But that's what we all are. Something the light has hit.
Maybe now we tell a ghost story.
Terrifying story.
About disemboweled children.
About blood dripping from hoisted bodies.
Hungry eyes in the dark.
Thin white devils of the lawn and laneway. About night.
About the world where light shows you nothing.
Where the only shapes are sounds.
I hate ghost stories, they scare me.
the big lesson is for a lot of students who see the show is that a lot of the times they don't realize how powerful, how much control, I mean, how strong they are in a classroom.
Are you done? Are you done? With your spiel. With your little spiel. Yeah!
Are you working? What kind of work do you do? Boy, what is it you want to do when you grow up?
When you are ready, you will all spontaneously stand up and join hands with a stranger in a large circle. That is excellent. Come to the dance floor. Okay, we're going on a community walk now. Succulent. Left onto Church Square. The Artist's Manifesto.
Fine woman, your mama, a fine woman.
You still miss her, don't you, Danny?
That I do. Even after all this time.
Oh, come now, Danny. Don't you stop getting all morbid on me. Well, we're supposed to be having a party tonight, not a wedding.
Yes, yes. This old house has seen enough tears for one lifetime. Well, tonight, fair weather will be a place of joy. My little honey Sue coming home at last.
I just hope I haven't gone overboard with all these decorations.
Hester and Esther, take it away, girls.
1, 2, 3. Look at Mr. Lee. 3, 4, 5. Look at him die, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee. Oh, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee. Oh, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee. Oh, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee.